I want to note, back to the Boo Bash for a second, I want to note that Boo Bash was made possible by the support of 7 enthusiastic volunteers, including high school students, friends of the library, board members, some combination friends of the library and board members, Peggy and Norma, and also our former employee Lena Sheldon, who graciously
that was very nice.
coordinated that event and came back for that. Right. She had planned it, and so she came back and led it, and that was tremendously helpful to have her do that.
She did a great job.
Yes, she certainly did. So during November, we're going to maintain a similar level of programming for children, and then we're going to do that during the first 3 weeks of November, and then we're going to break for Thanksgiving. So, we want to keep that going as much as we can without somebody in the youth services librarian position.
Well, Lindsay is great at story time.
She is great at story time, so that's going to continue. There are going to be 3 story times in November because of the Thanksgiving holiday, and those are, of course, Thursday morning. We are going to have another Me and My Mini program, another music and movement program, the 3 story times, and then there will be 3 additional sessions of Dungeons and Dragons during November, and then that program is that campaign, because Dungeons and Dragons is done in campaigns, is going to conclude. And then for December, we have music and movement and 3 story times, again, because of the holiday schedule toward the end of the month. 3 story times with Lindsay on Thursday morning.
Lindsay's agreed to do it until we...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Through December. I'm not planning into November because I hope to have a person...
January?
Into January, thank you. My days are all mixed up. I'm not planning into January because I wanted to have to give the new youth services librarian, hopefully we'll have somebody on board by then, and that person will have free reign to plan the programs as they see fit. So those everything's booked through December. In December we have music and movement, 3 story times, and I'm working with some of the staff to supplement those with something like a holiday movie screening and or a multi-week craft program. And so Deb Griffin, one of the part-time staff members, has agreed to do a multi-week craft program.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're just figuring out what exactly that looks like. Probably it's going to be on Tuesday afternoons, we're thinking. So,
and many times the movie screenings have been done on days when there's an early release at the schools.
Okay.
And that tends to bring some of the kids in.
Yeah. That's good, thank you. So, also related, the library will participate in this year's Chain of Lights. So, Lena, again, graciously offered to coordinate that as she did with the Boo Bash. And so I've spoken with the town of Sutton HR department, and we are going to rehire Lena as an on-call substitute.
Excellent.
So that we can compensate her for the time and energy and expertise that she puts into leading this, since it is such an important event.
Are we able to pay her for the Boo Bash, or is it too late?
I think that she did as a volunteer, and that pay period has passed. So, yeah, I think that's too late for that.
Yeah, okay.
But going forward, and she even indicated a willingness to as her schedule permits her, to come in and do some additional substituting too, not just for the big event.
Oh, good.
So,
Okay, nice.
but yeah, after doing the one as a volunteer, and it just seemed like the right thing to do to compensate her for this future one, because it really is such a vital, critical thing for us to have that presence there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't at the time that I wrote this report, and still this morning, I don't have the details of what we are going to be doing, but I've reached out to her to find that out, and hopefully, because of the not planning programming into January, this next newsletter is just going to be from December. And so instead of doing the 3-month format, I'm going to do a December newsletter only, because that's as far out as we're planning the programming. And so I hope to have that out towards the end.
So with Chain of Lights, she's going to do activities for the kids?
I don't have that yet.
Well, I was just going to say the Friends would happily pay for whatever.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we were having a back and forth about obtaining the supplies, so
Yeah.
we may definitely be asking you
Yeah.
to help with that.
That's the type of thing that you would unfortunately miss the last Friends meeting, but that's what you come for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ask for money.
Yes, yes, so thank you very much for that, and we definitely may be taking you up on that, and we also may be taking you up on that for the craft programs that we're talking about in December, that a staff member is gonna do, so thank you very much for that. So, yeah, so in any case, I hope to have the details of what we're gonna do specifically at the Chain of Lights in the next week in order to get that newsletter out ahead of the month of December. So then I have in the report a list of all the upcoming programs for adults, children, tweens, and teens, and I won't go through and read all of those, but you can see what we are planning. And I will note one sort of special program, which is that Lisa Shea, the local author who runs the writing group, is doing a 4-week series on writing, publishing, and marketing. And 2 of those events are in the past. They happened in November, earlier in November, but the 2 final ones are coming up on Wednesday, December the 3rd, and also Wednesday, December the 10th, both from 6 to 7:45 p.m. And the December 3rd event is online marketing, spread the word for any project. And then on December 10th, social networking, 8 different systems. So those are for people who have already written and published their books. And these are all standalone events depending on a writer's interest and needs. They could register and attend. All of them or just some of them. So these do require registration. They're from 6 to 7:45 on those 2 Wednesdays. And then I should note that the program is supported in part by a grant from the Sutton Cultural Council, which is a local agency supported by funding from the Massachusetts Cultural Council, a state agency. So that's an exciting offering for our local writing community.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you. So then I will note in upcoming teen programs, we're planning a one-off Dungeons and Dragons program in December and then followed by another multi-week campaign beginning in January 2026. It didn't make sense to start a multi-week campaign in December with the holidays coming up.
Sure.
But Paul came up with the idea of doing this one-off program so that there's still something for the teens during December.
Excellent.
Yep, so that's exciting. So next, we have a couple of human resources notes, but let me pause to see if there are any questions or comments or anything before
No, I'm
I move
good.
into that.
Yep.
All right. So
We'll stop you and ask questions right in the
okay,
middle.
All right, just wanted to make sure.
We're not shy.
Yeah, please don't be. Please don't be. So, the Youth Services Librarian Search. As of November 10th, the Town Human Resources Department had received 13 applications for the Youth Services Librarian position. Now, as of yesterday or the day before, I was informed that they've received one additional one. So we're up to, I believe, 14
Wow.
now.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm not superstitious, but I'm thankful for the extra application. So,
It's funny.
yeah, so the application period closed on this past Monday. And in the report, I note that I will review the applications and schedule interviews with the qualified candidates. We actually have the application review scheduled for tomorrow afternoon. So
Is that you and Erin?
that's me and Aaron and Matt,
Oh, good.
the head of
Good,
circulation, so that we're the interview panel. So we're going to be reviewing those 14 applications tomorrow. We want to schedule the interviews as quickly as we possibly can. You know, at this point, it probably is going to happen after Thanksgiving, I would think. So, but maybe early in December, and the sooner we get them done and hopefully identify a good candidate, you know, we'll maybe extend an offer and possibly have somebody starting in early January. So the town HR is going to, of course, assist with the hiring process, including reviewing the applications and conducting the interviews. And I wanted to note that to attract a broader pool of applicants, I adjusted the qualifications. We discussed that.
Right.
Yes.
But I wanted to make the qualifications, the required qualifications, more commensurate with the hiring wage range. So,
Which is, we should note, a lower range than is the range
For the area,
in the area for other.
which I asked Austin about that, about revisiting the pay range, no movement on that.
no movement on that at this point. It's a conversation that we can have as we
Yeah.
begin the budget process for next
Exactly.
year.
Since the budget was already set for this year, we have to wait till the following fiscal year to be able to have any discussion about changing wage ranges.
And this hiring process will give us some useful information one way or the other for what a reasonable, appropriate
Yes,
range might be.
Correct.
Either,
correct.
yeah. So an MLIS degree and prior public library youth services experience are now preferred rather than being required. And that gives us flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that, several other items which are important, for example, collection development experience, are now listed as being a plus. So it would give a candidate who had them an edge, but those things could also be learned on the job if need be. And so we're not excluding anybody who is quite capable of learning some of those things, but doesn't currently have them. So that's the update on the youth services librarian.
Hopefully, we
Fingers
will have some
crossed.
good news at our next meeting.
Hopefully so. I'm
Oh.
looking forward to seeing the applications.
Yes.
Yep, all 14 of them. So then we also have an on-call library technician substitute position listed. And as of the 4th of November, the town Human Resources Department had received 3 applications for that position. One of the candidates subsequently withdrew from consideration due to having obtained other employment, and 2 interviews were scheduled for November 12th with head of circulation Matt and myself. As you know, then I was unexpectedly out, but I said to Matt, please go ahead and conduct the interviews yourself, and he did. And so that's something that he and I will be discussing soon. It is a position, because it is on call, where we can hire multiple people if we have multiple suitable candidates. So that is really good, because it is going to be very helpful to have additional substitutes to fill in
Yes.
when needed, especially due to unexpected absences. And I wrote that before I had my own unexpected absence. So it's certainly true.
Right.
Certainly true.
It happens to all of us.
Yep. So anyway, yeah. So hopefully we'll have some additional on-call substitutes hired in the near future. And then also wanted to note a few meetings and trainings and things like that. I did complete the State Ethics Commission Conflict of Interest training on October the 27th, which is something required of all town personnel, and I think library trustees as well.
Yes, we are very familiar with it.
Yeah, and there was even a part about libraries in there. So
That's correct.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was good. Good information to have. And Matt and I met to have a one-on-one meeting about all sorts of things. I did a CW Mars, which is the consortium that we're a member of, a CW Mars new director orientation with the executive director of that organization back in October. And then also...
That's great. Was that helpful?
Oh my gosh, it was so helpful.
Yeah.
It was so helpful. Massachusetts has a complex support system for libraries. It's very different than what we had in South Carolina, and is really great. And CW Mars is one of several parts, but a very critical part for us being a member of that. But the resource, their focus is primarily on resource sharing. You know, there's other sorts of support that the other state agencies like the Board of Library Commissioners and the Massachusetts Library System provide, but CW Mars supports for the members, which are in this geographic region, they support the resource sharing, and the resource sharing is such a valuable part of
Absolutely.
what we are able to provide for the community, because just almost anything is available so readily and quickly and easily to our cardholders, you know, and conversely, we support the other member libraries by making our resources available to them. So it's so much easier to get pretty much anything that you want. And of course, they also provide the ILS, the software system that manages all the loans, and so yes, there's tremendous value to the library and through the library to the community from our CW Mars membership, and I learned a lot. It is amazing the amount of different things that they do to support this one area of resource sharing. So that was really, really valuable. And so then, and sometime if you want to have a specific conversation
No, I was
about
just
any
curious,
of those,
that's all.
I'd be happy to tell you everything that I learned or any particular
good to hear.
aspects of it. Yeah. So on a related note, I was able to attend. So they have twice a year. They have their users council meetings, which is the governing body, and you know, as the library director, I have a seat on that users council. And so their fall meeting, which is the one where they approve their budget and they approve the assessments for the next fiscal year, which in this case is fiscal 27. That happened to be yesterday afternoon. And so I was able to attend that meeting. It's a virtual meeting. And so that was good to be a part of that. And yeah, so that's their budget was approved and the assessments were approved, and so we'll have that information going into our town budget process for the next fiscal year. So that was good. And then another thing to note is that I did on Halloween, actually, I delivered food pantry donations because we're, of course, a drop-off site for the food pantry. And we had some donations, and so I took that as a reason to go visit the senior center, which I had been wanting to do. And so I got a tour of the Sutton Senior Center with Tim Annis, the outreach director, who was so gracious with his time.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah. I was so thoroughly impressed, and we talked about some future opportunities for us to collaborate. And so I think some very exciting things are going to come out of that. But yeah, just they were so gracious and welcoming, and it's such a nice facility, and they do such an amazing job with the food pantry and everything else. And yeah. Then a few days later, I saw the video for the food pantry.
Oh Lord,
which
that was embarrassing. Yeah,
you did great, and it was so nice to see that it was so much more full. I mean, it was pretty impressively stocked when I was there, but then when you all were there, it was even more full.
Yeah, but Michelle said a week or two prior to it was pretty empty. So.
Yeah, but I think having the video as a way to share the information, you know, as part of like an interaction and question and answers.
I was mortified. Gina was thrilled.
Yeah.
I don't know how we ended up together, but
well, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Had the staff, the library staff, to watch it so that they have a good understanding of what it is that we support as a drop-off site. And
that's a great idea.
Yeah, and it was a timely tool to get them to see the impact that our participation in that has. So yeah, so just so everybody knows, we are a drop-off site,
and gladly accept donations.
Gladly accept donations. Yep. So anyway, and then the last thing to note is just a couple of upcoming library closures. We are going to be closed this year on Thanksgiving Day and the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay. Any questions?
No, that's
So it
great.
covers everything, just what,
Yes.
so tomorrow is the day you review the substitute.
Yes. No, sorry. Tomorrow is the day we review the youth services
Okay.
librarian.
Okay.
And you're just gonna chat with Matt
applications.
about his interviews?
Yes, the interviews for the substitute position have
Yeah.
already been conducted.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
And
have
so I
you,
just need to follow up and find out
Matt
what the
did.
status of that
right, so
is.
are you offering the position to anybody yet? Or
Don't know.
you don't know?
But
Yeah.
but again, we can hire
Right, as
multiple
many
different
as-
people if
Yeah.
we have qualified candidates.
And you have the option of bringing them in for a second interview should you
Yes.
wish to.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yep.
So lots of exciting things going
Yes,
on.
Yes, lots of exciting things.
All
Heading into
right.
the holidays.
Yes, speaking of which, we have to set up our next meeting date and time, so if we've got any suggestions for December, which is always such a full month. My suggestion would be earlier in the month rather than later in the month, if possible.
The week of the 8th, I won't be available,
Okay,
so,
so we'll go to the week of the 15th.
So the 17th?
Okay.
Is
Is
that all right
this,
with you, Chris?
I don't have my book with me. What day is that on? Wednesday?
it's a
It's a
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
the 17th.
I think that's okay.
Morning, afternoon, what's better for anybody?
I'm flexible.
When does Pam work? Does that help if Pam's here when we meet? Because it is the third Wednesday, so she would be here for book group, so.
Oh, yes, I would have to find that out. I have not
Okay,
become that familiar with
okay.
everybody's schedule just yet.
As typically you would have a second person scheduled so you can be relieved to come up
Oh,
here.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
we've typically met, when Pam works the third Wednesday to do book group.
Yes.
So we typically meet in that time frame, so that's one more body down there when you're
Oh,
not there.
yes, absolutely. And we do have the ability to, like, I could schedule somebody,
Yes.
assuming
Right,
we
I
have
know.
the people to schedule.
I
And
know.
when we hire some more substitutes, we'll have that flexibility. But
Yeah.
yes, we're always abiding by the two
Yeah,
Right,
people.
we
uh,
just don't want to make it
harder.
difficult
Right, understood.
for you.
I appreciate that, yes.
What about
but
1 o'clock?
we should be
Yes.
able to manage that, thank you.
1
1
o'clock?
o'clock, sure.
She does book group at
So, yeah,
2.
and Tuesday, I see also, I mean, Wednesday, you don't have any programs going on, so that's,
A plus.
yeah.
So December 17th at 1 PM for our next meeting?
Chris,
Yes.
you're good?
Okay, I think so. Yep.
All right. Unless there's anything else, I will make a motion to adjourn at 10:59.
Second the motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are officially adjourned. And I didn't want to say anything during our meeting, but I don't know if you are aware, but the daughter of one of our.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
all
tell
right.
me, what?
Lisa Kane.
Lisa
Remember
Kane.
Lisa? She
Oh,
was very
yeah.
instrumental.
No, man,
You remember,
was her-
Lisa
her
was one of the
daughter.
women that interviewed
daughter?
you.
That
I
just-
didn't know
that
she
was
had a
missing
daughter.
and then,
Lisa's
well, yeah.
daughter
This is
was
Lisa
the,
Kellogg Kane, the one with Liam?
yeah.
Yeah, Liam.
Yeah.
I didn't know she had a daughter.
All right,
Yeah, she has-
so
she had two.
Joanna Brown was the girl that was missing in
Yeah,
Worcester,
yes, I
Ah.
didn't,
and
because the name
that's
is
Lisa's
different. Was
daughter.
it from
Right.
another marriage?